All right. We should be live. Let me just, as always, and I need to turn the music down because goddamn it's loud on my end, not on your guys' end. Your guys' end, you're fine. My volume is separate from the stream more. Yeah, let me just check up on the stream to make sure everything's coming through all right. Yeah, let me just check up on. Oh look, it's me. Alright, yeah. There we go. It's starting to double up. Alright. let's get, oh, I should probably get the mic a bit close. Actually, no. Getting the mic closer is not a good idea. I went back and, I listened to my Joker laugh from, last, stream, and it was starting to clip. That was not good. So I should probably keep the mic a bit further away to prevent that, especially if Luke is gonna be joining it. Actually, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna move the mic a bit close. I'm gonna put the mic where I usually have it, which is closer up. Sorry if that's banging against my pop filter making some noise. I'm gonna have it, you know, so you can see it right there in the corner. If Luke Atmey shows up, I'm just gonna back up for when I do his lines and I start screaming, because I don't want the microphone peaking. Like I have it compressed so that it doesn't go above a certain decibel. Even then, it's still peaked. So I don't fucking know what to do. But anyways, yes, let's just get. There we go. Okay, that was a bit weird. Controller should be charged this time, so let's get into it. Well, let's head in, take a look at the court record, and I'll give you guys my sort of rundown for, you know, I'll give you guys a recap on what my theory was last time. You know, if you're, like, you know, binging this series, you could probably just skip this part, since you probably heard my theory at the end of last episode. October 14th, 9:41 a.m., District Court Defendant Lobby number 4. Did I lock my door? Yes, I did. Okay. Hey, Nick! Shut up! Okay, here we go. Let's take a look. Treasure exhibit poster, not exactly useful. Amy Faye's golden statue. Right, okay, so starting off with what happened at the basement warehouse. After the picture of the urn was taken, over here, right, the treasure exhibition poster. Actually, I should probably get the chat in front of me so I can, you know, read it if someone decides to chat. Yes, so right after this picture was taken, Adrian Andrews accidentally dropped the box that was containing the urn, specifically this box. And she dropped it oh yes, she tripped over a can of pink paint and dropped the box. This led to a huge splatter of paint all over the floor, as well as over the box. After that, she heard a breaking sound as the urn was broken. She took out the box, she opened the box, and out of it fell all the pieces of the urn right into the still wet paint, and as a result, the urn was then covered in splotches of pink paint. From there, Adrian Andrews decided to reconstruct the urn. And of course, because she is a sensible person with a functioning brain, she actually reconstructed it correctly, you know, with the right word and everything, as opposed to how Pearls had accidentally reconstructed it badly. So that's that. Not much of importance there. Oh, yes. 2 weeks ago. Yep, okay. And because the urn, you know, because Adrian didn't want anyone to notice that the urn was fucked, she basically kept it out of sight for the last 2 weeks. So nobody has seen the urn in the last 2 weeks. That's what's important. That means that the urn wasn't actually stolen that night, or more so that it doesn't have to be, and in fact, it makes no sense for it to have been. The timeline wouldn't work out, and I'll explain that in a second. What this means is that any time during the past 2 weeks, and we know that it was 10 days ago that Luke Atmey was hired, meaning that which was, you know, less than 2 weeks. Actually, no, Luke Atmey was hired 20 days ago, my bad. So, yes, anytime since the past 2 weeks, Luke Atmey could have stolen the urn. Literally any night at 1 a.m., he could have stolen the urn. And nobody would have noticed. So that means that the actual urn was not stolen on the 12th. It could have been stolen at any point. Moving on, a Master Mask calling card, yes. So we know that now that Luke Atmey, that Master Mask is not actually Ron, and it's not actually Atmey. It's actually both of them kind of working together. Because during Masque de Masque's first heist, Ron was an idiot and essentially got seen by Luke Atmey. Luke, being pretty smart, was able to figure out who the fuck Masque de Masque was, and from then started blackmailing Ron. Essentially, he would tell Ron where to hit and how as Masque de Masque. Then he would take the treasures, fence them in the black market, and send a piece of the money back to Ron. Therefore, Luke could keep up his whole detective persona, because he essentially creates his own, the Masque de Masque. He's right. Well, he's not the one that goes around in the costume. He's the one that plans out all the heists and stuff. So so in a sense, he does create Masque de Masque to be his arch nemesis. And it also lets him and Ron get filthy rich. How does he do this? Well, through none other than Kane Bullard, the chief of KB Security, which is also the company that provides security at all of the, for all the art pieces that were stolen by Masque de Masque. Essentially, Kane Bullard would provide, KB Security and Luke Atmey would provide security for an event, and then, you know, they would purposely leave weak spots and blind spots and other stuff in the defenses so that they would be easy to infiltrate. Then they would give all those details to Ron so that then he could, carry out the perfect crime completely unimpeded by the security company. Then Kane and Luke would fence the items. However, Luke wanted wanted some more recognition as a detective, so he decided to actually take one of the items, the portrait of Megina, and give it back to the museum as if he had recovered it. To solidify his identity as the detective, which is actually a very smart thing, because at the time, him and KB Security were starting to lose, they're starting to lose the trust of the various establishments around the city, which was kind of necessary for them to keep getting hired for the whole scheme to keep going on. So he was actually pretty smart in doing that. In response, he got given a red gem. But Kane was not too happy about this, so he blackmailed Luke and was like, you either give me $50,000 to make up for what we lost, or that red gem, or I'm gonna reveal your identity to everyone. That's pretty much how that happened. So then Luke sent that says the blackmail letter that Luke got. He then resent that letter to Ron. Then he went to KB Security right before 1 a.m., killed Kane Bullard, waited for Ron to arrive as dictated in the letter, knocked him out, hit the alarm button so that the guards would show up and find Ron in there, sneaked his way out, then headed over back to Lordly Taylor, where he had already stolen the urn some nights prior, and basically altered the data in the cameras to make it seem like the photo wasn't taken at 1 a.m. some random day, because the photo only has the timestamp. It doesn't have a date. The date is only in the program that Luke wrote and has full control over. So he essentially just modifies the program so that it makes it seem like the photo was actually taken that night at 1 a.m. And then he makes it look like he fought with Masque de Masque, got knocked out, woke up 30 minutes later, and called the police. What in reality happened is it took him 30 minutes to get from KB Security all the way back to Lordly Taylor. And in those 30 minutes, he arrived 30 minutes later, so he made up the story about, trying to make it seem like there was a struggle in order to essentially give himself an alibi for 1 a.m. at the time of the murder. Then he calls the police. It all goes according to plan. However, he was never expecting that the security guard in charge of KB Security would be so absolutely incompetent, or that Ron would end up turning himself in for the robbery. And there we have it. That's pretty much it. Let's keep going. Camera data definitely altered by Luke. Shichishito bent by Luke in an attempt to solidify his because it's actually sort of double narrative. On one hand, he has the narrative of oh, I fought Master Mask and was knocked out. But then there's the other narrative right below it of, well, actually, I am Master Mask and I made it all seem like I fought him, right? When in reality, they're both, it's a sort of double alibi, right? If he fought against Mask de Mask at 1 a.m. in Lordly Taylor, that gives him an alibi for the time of the murder. But when we revealed that he was actually Mask de Mask, then he still had the alibi of, well, I was at Lordly Taylor at 1 committing the crime. So it was essentially a very smart double alibi. So that even if we destroyed one layer of it, the second layer would still provide him with an alibi for the time of the murder. Moving on, the security camera photo, taken at 1 a.m., no date specified. However, as we can see, sometime in the last 2 weeks, based on the paint. Oh! Do we know when the statue came in? Because Adrian Andrews specifically said that the statue of Amy Faye actually only came in sometime after she had been, sometime after she had spilled the paint, and that's when she used the statue to cover it. Meaning that that in reality, it seems more likely that this photo was taken, right, before the statue of Amy Faye arrived at Lordly Taylor and Adrian Andrews used it to cover up the paint. And that explains why the statue was moved again on the night of the crime. Because Luke, actually being a fucking genius, realized the statue is there, but it wasn't there when I took the picture. Meaning that if people realize that the statue should have been there in the picture, they're gonna think this picture isn't real or it was taken at some other time. So I'm gonna move the statue away from where it is so that it looks like the picture was taken on that day. So that's why the statue was moved. That's the final piece. That's the last bit of information that I needed to finalize my theory. Because I remember I was confused about that last time. Why would he move the statue? To make the scene of the crime look like the photo he had taken many nights prior. Very fucking smart. Cool. Blackmail Letter. It's great having a smart thief, because it means that, or a smart criminal, because it means that you can logically piece together their crime, right? The worst criminals are the ones who have no idea what they're doing and are just flailing wildly. Because, like, you have no fucking clue what is happening. Then Blackmail Letter, we already went over it. Ron's wallet, yeah, it was planted there by, well, either he accidentally did drop it, or it was planted there by Luke, you know, so that even if he managed to escape from the building, they'd be able to locate him there using the wallet. You know, pretty smart move, I'd say, if that it was on purpose. Key card, yeah. Publicity photo, Mastermind striking both. Yeah, I would imagine that that Luke doesn't actually have a key card since he doesn't actually work for KV Security, and was probably let in. You know, the CEO just lets him in on, you know, whenever he arrives because he can't leave a record of his appearances. Publicity photo, the brooch, used to make it seem like there was a struggle to set up Luke's alibi. Then the autopsy report, right, that's fine. Newspaper clipping, right, showing when Luke, over here, caught Ron in the act. CO office buzzer. No fingerprints on it, right, because it was Luke, who always wears gloves, as he said, who actually pressed it. The list of the crime scene actually detailing what I would assume is how much money is given to, should be paid to Luke, or how much money he received. Like maybe Luke is the one that sold, who actually, no, but Kane is the one with the underworld contact, so he was the one who should have been fencing that. Buzzer record, yep, that works out. Ron's testimony. Okay, so he was stealing as directed by Blackmail Letters, right? And then the Sacred Urn. Yeah, okay, so I think we have a pretty good solid grasp of the crime. And let's get to it then. Hey, Nick! And what is it this time? You won't believe how many people are here for the trial. Well, it is a murder case. What are you talking about? They're here for the trial next door. Next door? The trial of Luke Atmey as, Master Mask. Very convenient, because Luke Atmey is literally in the room next door, meaning that we can call on him to testify in our case if we need. Why don't you know this, Nick? They're having Detective Atmey's trial today. Detective Atmey? They say they're going to try him as Mask the Mask. Already? That was fast. Well, yeah, they always do the trials like the day after the person is caught, don't they? Like, almost without fail, I'm pretty sure. Like, the police department, say what you will about them, but they have an efficiency that is quite impressive. Boy, I'd love to see the Mask the Mask trial. I know. Gatto? By the way, where's Pearls? Oh, she went back home. She said she can't neglect her training anymore. I know you don't like me. Or Ron? Pearls has really gotten into her training lately, huh? Yeah, ever since that incident last year. Please don't ignore me! Yep, it was Ron. There we go. I wonder who's running prosecution on the Mask de Mask case, because, I mean, it seems kind of weird that Gatto would be running prosecution on this case rather than, you know, continuing on the case that he was on previously, you know? Oh, Mr. Delight, good morning. Although I guess he specifically has something out for Phoenix, so that's why he's here, I guess. No one likes me. Oh, it's probably Winston Payne, actually. That would make sense. No one would notice me, even if I killed someone. Come on, don't be silly. Wait a sec. You don't mean you're the murderer? No. I'm just a poor thief. No, wait, that's not right. A thief can't really be poor. I mean, you did get scammed pretty bad. Like, what were you getting? Like, 1/30th of the actual going price of the items that you stole? Like, Jesus Christ, you might have been a thief, but you were getting robbed too. Now, let's see. According to Mr. Delight, from his second crime on, he was following a bunch of set plans. Plans that someone had been sending him to help him commit the heists. Do you really think there's a connection between the thief and the murderer, Nick? It's possible, but today's trial is a race against the clock. Huh? How come? Let's just take our time like always. I'm afraid that's not an option. October 14th, 10 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 6. Alright.
Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Ron Delight.
The defense is ready, Your Honor. You're ready. Preparation is the last refuge of the weak.
You're not an intellectual! You're a fake and a fraud!
You're an idiot, dude! Like, I know that I did the fucking Chad thing for you, but that's because you're a fucking idiot. You have no logic, no evidence. Your entire argument style is simply saying, well, it's like, what are prosecutors Gatto and Edgeworth's views on when the defense presents evidence? Mr. Edgeworth says, evidence is the foundation of any good court of law. When the defense presents evidence to back up their claim, it is my duty as a prosecutor to acknowledge that evidence and then present my own evidence to counteract those claims and finally arrive at the truth. Gatto says,
What the fuck is evidence? I'm just gonna ignore everything the defense says anyways and tell them, well, do you have evidence to prove why I should care about your evidence? Huh? Do you have that? Motherfucker, dude. I absolutely despise him. Like, the only reason he doesn't lose, like, in any other court of law, he would probably just, like, lose on the spot every single time. The only way he's winning here is because the judge is an absolute pushover.
Okay, settle down, everyone. Let's begin with your opening statement, Mr. Gatto.
Oh, he's got the judge in the palm of his hand yet again.
Rhonda Light is simply too young to be sent to war. And that's all.
Didn't you say you don't like opening statements?
I'm afraid I have no idea what that means, Mr. Gatto.
Then you need to get out more, Your Honor. Life is war. But that is exactly why you must be more precise in your wording. That's all my statement means. You understand now, right?
Yes. Well then, let me briefly summarize the details of the case.
What the hell? The judge is taking charge like he knows what's going on for a change.
The victim is Kane Bullard, CEO of KB Security. His body was found in a safe at approximately 9 a.m. on the morning of the 13th. However, the time of death was estimated at 1 a.m. the previous day.
And that's when our lost kitten dropped the ball. That little lost kitten is, of course, the defendant.
Very well then, Mr. Gatto. Please call your first witness.
I don't like that shake of the head.
I never drink more than 17 cups of coffee during any given trial. But the first one is always the best.
Mr. Gatto, your witness?
Okay then, let's hear what the defendant, Mr. Rhonda Light, has to say for himself.
The defendant? Well, Mr. Wright, does the defense have any objections? It may be a bit of a disadvantage having the defendant testify, but...
I remember when Mia was defending me. She allowed me to testify so that she could do the cross-examination. She put a lot of trust in me back then. We have no objections, Your Honor. The defense will allow Mr. Delight to testify.
You've got guts, right?
All right then, Mr. Rhonda Light, please take the stand.
Thankfully, none of the voices in this trial should be too bad for me other than Luke, maybe.
You did it, didn't you?
Yes. What? What? No. That's not true.
For a moment there, I thought we'd set the record for the shortest trial ever.
Well, Mr. Delight already looks plenty guilty with the face he's making. And once he opens his big mouth, he'll probably put the last nail in his own coffin.
Very well. Now then, can you tell me something? If you didn't kill Bullard, why'd you go to KB Security?
Well, that's kind of hard to say. Boy, I wish I could go home.
And now then, let's hear some more testimony about what happened.
Visit to KB Security. All right, let's see. That evening, around 1 a.m., I went to see Mr. Bullard in his office at KB Security. The blackmail letter I got, it ordered me to go there. I've been working for KB Security until a year ago, so I knew where his office was.
1 a.m., the exact time the murder took place.
The weak gets washed away by the tides of fate. The strong drink it up. It's bitter today, too. Just like my destiny.
You'd never know from the way he's chugging it down.
Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, if you please.
God damn, he's really playing up the fucking emo bit today for some reason.
I live in a world of darkness. Dark just like this coffee.
Alright. Went to see Mr. Bullard in his office at KB Security. Blackmail letter I got ordered me to go there. Sure. Working for KB Security until a year ago, so I knew where his office was. Not quite. The letter tells you to go to KB Security. It doesn't actually mention the office, if you actually notice. It ordered you there? It was the first time I've gotten a blackmailed letter that ordered me to go somewhere.
Wait, does that mean you've gotten other blackmail letters then?
Oh, of course. They say things like, steal this or take that. Why did you save those for later, Mr. Delight? Please don't say any more. They're like my secret weapon. Now, what should I do? Press harder. So, what did the blackmail letter in question say? It said to bring $50,000. Money, eh? A perfect motive for committing murder. Oh, but no, wait! I never intended to pay that money anyways.
Oh, is that right?
After all, he had nothing to hold over my head. I had nothing to be afraid of.
An important point indeed. Witness, let's have that added to your testimony.
Yes, sir. A muddy mud skipper in outer space has a better chance of surviving than I do. The blackmail threat didn't scare me. I wasn't going to cause me any trouble anyway. Really? I don't know. That seems kind of hard to believe if you ask me. Just what were you being blackmailed about anyways?
The blackmail letter says if you don't want your identity revealed, correct?
I'm sure it was referring to the whole Mask the Mask thing, but I wasn't worried. Mr. Bullet didn't have anything on me.
He didn't?
Anyway, I don't care what anyone says about me. It's just as long as Desi believes in me. So that's why Miss Delight didn't believe he was Mask the Mask. That's why I knew they were just hollow threats. Secured until a year ago, so I knew where his office was. Well, yeah, because it was not targeted at you. Let's press on the other thing, see what we can pull out. You used to do security. You used to be a security chief for KB Security, correct? Yeah, that's right.
A security chief? You? I don't see it.
And yet, a year ago, you were fired without notice. Revenge for no grudge. Perfect motive for murder, wouldn't you say?
This isn't good. Maybe I should change the subject. Life after being fired, why he was fired. Yeah, why were you fired? Mr. Delight, please tell us why you were fired from your job. Well...
The world is filled with those who have said. I wish I'd never asked that.
Okay, then I take it back.
Defendant, please answer the question.
Well, I needed money.
You needed money?
Well, you see, Desi loves to spend it. It's kind of her hobby.
So you quit your job to make money? God damn, those unemployment benefits must be going through the roof nowadays.
Not exactly the best hobby in the world, huh, Nick? My salary wasn't nearly enough, so I stole data from the company. His first big heist, I guess. Come again? KB Security had a lot of security and info on all sorts of companies. And since I was security team chief...
You stole some data and sold it.
Mr. Bullard found out. I was fired immediately. What? I wish I'd never asked that. I was somehow able to keep it secret and made it seem like I'd quit on my own. What is it, Nick? You don't look so good.
Someone who brings harm to their company is fired as punishment. You do well to remember that.
He sure told you.
So you admit you stole data from your company, is that correct?
Yes, I'm sorry.
This is a very important fact. Please add it to your testimony.
Oh man, this whole thing just took a big turn for the worse, crashed, and then blew up. It's gonna take the jaws of life to rip this case from the clutches of disaster. What are you talking about? This case is going fine. Pardon me. Oh, fuck. Why would you do something like that? Well, for Desi's hobby, what else? Wasting money, huh? It's not a waste! So Miss Delight doesn't know that her husband was fired, does she? So it would seem. Now I'm not sure what to think about couples who keep secrets from each other like that. I can't believe it. This case has gotten even Maya to think seriously about couples.
Please try to stay focused, Mr. Wright.
There wasn't much on his testimony, was there? Sounds like he's avoiding something. At least that's what it sounds like to me. I've got a bad feeling about this. We better be careful. But if we don't find a way to make him spill the beans, we'll never get closer to the truth. Yeah. Okay. Gonna cause me any trouble. I've been working for KB Security until a year ago, so I knew where his office was. Fired me for selling company secrets, but Desi doesn't know about that. Hold it! Just what were you...
Objection!
There we go, finally.
I'm afraid that reason isn't gonna hold up anymore.
What do you mean?
The victim had no proof that the defendant was Master Mask, but you were the one who stole company secrets only 1 year earlier.
But that was all over once I was fired. But it is true that the fact I stole secrets was kept under wraps. Even so, there's no reason for me to pay up now, a whole year later. Is that really true? What is it, Nick? The fact that Ron was stealing company data. I wonder if he would have had a problem with that ever becoming public knowledge. He would. Mr. Delight, I believe you would have been in considerable trouble if your identity as company data thief was made public. Oh.
Mr. Wright! What are you trying to do by bullying your own client?
Men are like colonies of bacteria. The more heat you apply, the faster they grow.
That's exactly right.
Well then, feel free to keep up the heat, my little lawyer amigo.
Little lawyer amigo?
Yes. Now come on, provide some evidence to back up your assertion. Why would Mr. Delight want to keep his data and stealing secrets from going public?
Well, quite simply, for his wife. Mr. Delight, what you said just now doesn't match what you told me yesterday. What doesn't? I think you must have been scared. Very scared. Of having a certain person find out your secret. Oh.
A certain person?
Miss Desiree Delight, the defendant's wife. But listen to me, my Dusty, she's...
Looks like I just sit back and relax. The fun will end before it truly begins.
Yeah, because you're garbage. Hell, if I didn't do anything, you probably couldn't even prosecute this case yourself. So how about you sit back, relax, drink your Gatto blend number 107 or whatever. I'll make your case for you and then destroy it. Okay? How's that sound?
Gatto. Yes, we know. It was all your wife's fault.
Oh, what do you mean?
Mr. Delight stole company data to pay for his wife's spending habit, for which he was fired. Unable to face his own wife, someone used his dirty little secrets to blackmail him. And that is how this murder came about.
Oh,
Oh, everything is falling neatly into place for him. Don't talk about my Desi like that, or you'll be sorry. Oh, poor Ron.
Well, it seems that we've learned a great deal of things here so far.
What do you think, Nick? I didn't think it was possible to get those thoroughly whipped in just 20 minutes.
Clearly, there was sufficient motive for murder. He stole data from his wife, and he killed to protect his secret. A family man who cared just a little too much. A tragic story.
The motive is clear. Let's move on.
So yeah, this is what's dumb about fucking Gatto. Like, when we make the case that, oh, Ron Delight went to KB Security at the time of the murder, he makes us, like, provide, like, 5 different pieces of evidence as proof. Meanwhile, here, he's just like...
Yeah, he had a motive for murder. He was blackmailed. Moving on now. What happened at this crime scene at 1 in the morning, Mr. Delight? Come now, tell us. We're all ears.
At the CEO's office. Alright, here's where we can start turning this around. When I entered the office, there's a suspicious shadow there. Yep. Suddenly, I was hit on the forehead. After that, I remember being a bit dazed. If I had been wearing that, I would have been killed. When I came to, Mr. Bullard was lying there, dead. Wearing what?
I see! Suddenly hit on the forehead, huh? I believe the detective from yesterday provided a similar testimony. He said that Master Mask struck him on the head from behind.
Of course, since Snapney turned out to be the culprit himself, that was all a lie. But not completely.
No one's going to believe a pathetic lie like that.
What are you saying? I really was attacked.
We'll find out if what you say is the truth or not during the cross-examination.
Got that, Mr. Trite? Don't go easy just because he's your client. If I see any signs that you are, I'll treat you to another cup of my special blend.
You don't need to worry about that, Mr. Gatto. I have faith in Ron. I know he didn't do it. Because I know who did. And he's like, you could probably hear him laughing maniacally on the other room. At the CEO's office. Into the office, there was a suspicious shadow there. Hit on the head, I remember being... If I hadn't been wearing that, I would have been killed. That? Could you please clarify what you are referring to? Why, my Mask the Mask costume, of course.
Wait just a moment! Mask de Mask!
I forgot to mention it before. Just to be on the safe side, I dressed as Mask de Mask. And then I descended upon the office of the CEO of KB Security.
What?
Nick, did you know about this? He never told me this. I don't recall him ever mentioning it to me either.
Even I didn't know that. It seems our little friend really loves to keep secrets.
I'm sorry, I just never had a chance to mention it up until now. Wait, that's not right. You know how sometimes things just slip your mind?
My 6th cup of coffee is staring up at me coldly.
At any rate, we can't ignore this new piece of information. Witness, please correct your testimony.
I had been killed if I hadn't been wearing my Mask the Mask costume. And yet we know for a fact that at 1 a.m. in the morning, someone wearing the Mask de Mask costume was there at Lordly Taylor, which means that either this picture was taken at a different time, or there are 2 Mask de Mask costumes. Your Honor, what do you think about the witness's statement?
I'm not sure I follow you.
It clearly contradicts the, thought?
Fuck. You don't sound very sure, Mr. Wright. Objection denied.
I don't think that won me any points with the judge. Alright, let's go ahead and save. That was not my brightest moment. I guess maybe pressing him would do well. Why were you dressed up as Mask de Mask? Why? Because I'm Mask de Mask, of course.
Oh, what are you talking about? Mask de Mask's trial is being held next door. Did you come to the wrong courtroom?
Yes, I guess so. Anyway, at the time, I thought I was being blackmailed over the Mask the Mask issue. So I thought I should go ask him just to be safe. Oh boy. Let me tell you, it's a real pain to move around with that cape. That's why it took a lot longer than I'd expected. Took a lot longer? What is he talking about? What do you mean by took a lot longer? Oh, opening the safe, of course. My cape got caught on the safe door, you see. Oh, right! I do remember that during the intro there was the sounds of someone opening a safe. This all happened when I was hiding Mr. Bullard's body.
What the hell was that? Oh, back up just a second.
Yes?
You were the one that hid the body in the safe?
Well, yeah.
Inconceivable! Why? Just why? What reason could you have? What were you thinking?
Question. When does someone toss their dirty shorts in the washing machine?
Huh? What?
The answer's simple. When they take them off.
As usual, I have no idea what you're saying. That is how clothes usually work.
Do you mean that Mr. Delight hid the body because he's the murderer? Because you have a really stupid way of saying it.
So you're not as stupid as you look.
His metaphor this time is really obscure.
Mr. Wright, you don't mean that you knew about this whole safe business, do you?
Well, yes.
Why am I the only one not in the loop here? Witness, make sure you add this to your testimony.
Yes, sir. Uh-oh, looks like a storm front is moving in all over the fair weather judge. I panicked and hid the body in the safe. It took me about 10 minutes. Based. Oh yeah, that's definitely good. Because it means that, he definitely could not have been at the exhibit at the time. Why did you hide the body in the safe anyways? Well, because it wouldn't fit in a drawer. That's not exactly what I meant. When I saw the corpse, I kind of lost it. I thought, if they find this corpse, they'll think I did it.
I think you had a simpler reason than that. It's because you killed him. That's why you spent 10 minutes hiding the body.
That certainly makes more sense.
Hold on. 10 minutes? What is it, Nick? I just had a thought. Under those circumstances, would you normally try to hide the body? And spend 10 whole minutes to do it? Under those circumstances? What circumstances? Oh, yeah, the buzzer alarm. Hey, Nick, if you think his behavior was so strange, why don't you present some evidence that would show just what those circumstances were? That's it, I'll take a look at the court record and present some evidence. We heard this from Mr. Delight yesterday, didn't we? Oh, I bet you he's still hiding something. I wouldn't be surprised. We'll just have to draw him out of it. I just hope he doesn't make things any more complicated. Here we go. That's the fact that the buzzer went off. Objection! Your Honor, could you please take a look at this record?
And what might this be?
The record for the emergency buzzer that connects the CEO office to security. If the button in the office is pressed, a security team is supposed to come running. And according to this record, the buzzer was pushed once, at 1:02 a.m.
What?
If Mr. Ron Delight truly was the murderer, he would have ran as soon as that buzzer sounded. After all, his security guard would have been heading his way.
Let's remember who we're dealing with here. He's probably had no idea there were security personnel in the building.
He was chief of security! Oh my god, he's an idiot! He's actually dumb! Oh god, I feel bad for him! I legitimately feel bad for Gatto! He's worse than Winston Payne! Hey, Owen! Hello! You got the Jekyll and Hyde hair? Yeah. I've been growing it out quite a bit. Here, let me take off the headphones. It's pretty much shoulder length now. Yeah, Based Attorney is back with a vengeance, but Gatto is a fucking retard. Objection! Up until 1 year ago, my client was working as chief of security. There's no way he wouldn't have known about them.
But as it turns out, the guard never came.
Oh my god, he's throwing a hissy fit! Look at him! He's like, no, fuck, I messed up! Why? He's so garbage at this. I pity him. Does he have brain damage? Is that where the mask comes from? That was nothing more than a coincidence. The fact that the guard was a pathetic loser who had just gotten punched in the face by his ex's new boyfriend. Yo, now that summer's coming up, we should do our group streams again? Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, probably Fridays or something? Yeah, we can probably discuss that after I'm done streaming today. That's definitely a good idea, yeah. And wasn't anywhere in the vicinity, and... What? And wasn't anywhere in the vicinity was not some... Oh! And what... Okay. Then Mr. Delight could have known. Right, it's a two-part sentence.
Again, remember who we're dealing with here.
He's so fucking pissed!
It's a sure bet that Mr. Delight didn't even notice the buzzer going off.
What is this train of logic? The defendant is deaf? What? The mask hides a Neanderthal forehead? He really is just an idiot. None of the other prosecutors I've ever faced would have been this dumb. It's like he's literally the embodiment of the Chad meme. That's why I fucking put him as the That's why I fucking put him as the that's why I photoshopped him onto the Chad body for the thumbnail and added him to the channel banner. He's literally the personification of average evidence and fan versus average ignoring the defense enjoyer. Cause that's all he does. If he had been conscious, that is.
Conscious? What do you mean by that?
Fine, let's hear your theory.
He's just giving up. Recall the defendant's testimony. The moment he entered the victim's office, someone attacked him. Mr. Delight said that he felt dazed. I'm willing to wager that he was knocked unconscious for at least a few minutes.
Unconscious? So he fainted!
That's why Mr. Delight didn't know the buzzer had sounded. And that's why he thought he had time to hide the body.
So, what are you trying to say?
Mr. Delight was knocked out, and the buzzer went off soon afterwards. Now, unless my client was able to hit the buzzer while he was unconscious... I'm gonna go mute, gotta study, but I'll play in the background. Sure, yeah. Good luck on your, exams. That's right. Whoever it was, they knocked out Ron Delight and then pressed the buzzer. Yeah, Gatto is just an idiot. He should have seen this coming.
Order in the court. Mr. Wright, this is...
Objection! This is preposterous. It was this kid.
He's not presenting any evidence! He's just like, fuck you, you're wrong, I will not elaborate why. Me presents evidence. No, me makes a claim. Gatto. No, okay. Let's start this over again. Phoenix Wright. And this is why my client is innocent. Gatto.
You can't prove that? Show me some evidence.
Phoenix presents the evidence. Gatto.
Well, fuck you. This is preposterous. That's not how any of this works. Can you present some more evidence to explain to me why I should care about your evidence? Ron Delight is the one who killed Kane Bullard.
That's not an argument, dude! Then who pressed the buzzer, idiot?
It was...
He's stumbling! He's like a child!
The victim, of course. He pressed the buzzer when the defendant attacked him.
But then who knocked him out?
He didn't die right away. He must have held on long enough to push the button.
But that still doesn't explain how Ron was knocked out! This This makes no sense! This is not even a valid train of logic! Not to mention the fact that there were no fingerprints on the buzzer, so just straight up, I have evidence that contradicts your claim, but your claims are just make no logical sense anyways.
So Kane Bullard sounded the buzzer himself. What is your opinion on this, Mr. Wright?
I need to prove that the real criminal is there at the scene, but how? Can I prove that it wasn't Kane Bullard who sounded the buzzer? Oh yeah, of course I can. Because this guy's an idiot. The defense's opinion isn't this, Your Honor. And you know, the fact is, it's not even like the evidence I'm about to present is some kind of like secret trump card that only I have, like the security record or stuff like that. No. This is evidence I got directly from Gumshoe. This is evidence recovered directly by the police department. Evidence that Gatto has access to, and he's just completely fucking forgotten, or he hasn't made the connection that there were no fingerprints on the fucking buzzer. This piece of evidence like, dude! With how closely the police and the prosecution work in this universe, you should have had this evidence before. You should have had this evidence before even I did! How could you make such a stupid mistake? I believe this is the piece of incontrovertible evidence you were looking for.
The emergency buzzer? Is there some kind of clue on it?
Absolutely not.
Hey, come on now. At least give some thought to what you say before opening your mouth.
Oh, he has no idea! He's so clueless! Oh my god, he's about to get hit so hard. The fact that there are absolutely no clues is itself the clue.
Now I'm the one who's clueless!
This button has no fingerprints on it. If Mr. Bullard had really pressed it himself, naturally, he would have left his fingerprints behind.
We're on to the light. I obviously wiped them off.
Why would he? A guard could have come at any moment.
He touched that button. I know he did.
The defendant, Mr. Delight, was dressed as Masque de Masque. And Masque de Masque always wears gloves. What reason could he possibly have to wipe the buttons free of fingerprints?
Order!
Like, he's literally making the most irrational arguments ever. Like, they don't make sense from a point of view of, like, why would he, like, it doesn't make sense. He has no reason to wipe the button, and he has very good reason not to wipe the button.
It would seem. I've been forced to eat crow.
I wonder what blend number crow flavored coffee is.
However, if the real killer was there at the scene, why would that person press the emergency buzzer?
Oh, don't worry, Gatto. This is not the only crow you'll be eating today. By the end of the day, you'll be eating an entire murder.
Shouldn't they have run away without putting themselves in extra danger?
Oh, come on, Phoenix, it's obvious.
What's with this awkward silence all of a sudden?
Huh. It looks like you're fresh out of parlor trick.
Motherfucker, dude! This guy is like, I give irreversible proof that the real killer was at the scene and that he pressed the buzzer. Like, there's literally not a single other person who could have or would have pushed the buzzer. And he literally admits,
Well, you got me there, partner.
and then it's like,
But you can't explain why he would have done it.
like, oh my god, it's so obvious. And you can't 1 second say,
I've been completely bested. You've absolutely defeated me.
and then the next second be like,
You've been defeated all along. That was just a mere parlor trick.
like, what the fuck, dude? This is some ape brain level shit. They're on to you, Nick. Just give me a minute to collect my thoughts. The real culprit killed Mr. Bullard at around 1 a.m. And Mr. Delight just happened to waltz in when the murder was taking place, right? The killer clobbered Mr. Delight and then sounded the buzzer. Even though security was supposed to respond right away if the buzzer was pressed, security was supposed to respond. Huh.
Time's up, Mr. Wright. Let's hear what you have to say.
Very well then.
Oh, you've got some guts. I like that in an opponent.
Yeah, I also like my opponents to have brains, which you clearly lack.
Why did the real killer sound the emergency buzzer?
They didn't mean to call a security guard. The killer knew that if they pressed the button, a guard would come running. And that was exactly what they wanted.
Do you mean to say that the killer called the guard on purpose?
Well, yeah, although as it turned out, he never showed up. Because he was getting his clock cleaned at the time.
Huh, what a touching story. You're saying that the killer had a change of heart and called the guards to turn himself in.
You idiot. No, I'm not. When that buzzer sounded, there were 3 people in that office. The victim, Kane Bullard, who was already dead. The defendant, Ron Delight, who was out cold. And the third person, the real killer. I wish the game wouldn't show the silhouette of Luke. It makes it too easy.
Hypothetically, yes.
Now then, in this situation, if the real killer made an escape, what would happen? The only ones left in the room would be the victim and Ron Delight. And if any security guards came running in at that time, they would think that I was the murderer. Yes, that was precisely the real killer's objective. And you, Prosecutor Gatto, fell for it hook, line, and sinker. To frame Ron Delight for the murder. Oh my god, what now? He didn't even have a fucking retort!
Order!
It would seem. I've been made to eat my words once again.
2 crows down, we got a few more to go for him. So right now we got a pair of crows. I'd say 3 constitutes a murder of crows, right? That's a group. Actually, you've been made to do a spit take with a cup of coffee. Mr. Wright, who was it? Who was it that tried to frame me? Wait a second. I'm the one and only Mask Damask, so... Nick, you mean the real killer is? We're gonna drag that person in here right now. But who is it? I don't have any solid proof yet, but think about it. The killer knew Mr. Delight's identity, and they also knew that he had been called to KB security that night. Not quite. They were the ones that actually called him. So the killer used him to execute a well-crafted plan to murder Kate Bullard.
Now then, let's hear your accusation, Mr. Wright. Who was it that framed Mr. Ron Delight, for the murder of Kate Bullard?
Take that!
Detective Luke Atmey. He's the only one who could have done it.
He's Detective
Luke Atmey?
You mean Mask Damask did it?
One Mask Damask, framed the other Mask Damask. Your Honor, the person being tried in the court next to us is not Mask Damask at all. Well, he's not the one that wears the costume, but he is the one behind all the heists, so in a sense he is. He is, in actuality, the true murderer of Kane Bullard.
Order! Mr. Wright, explain yourself!
Theft and murder. which is more serious crime?
They're not even close! Murder is more serious crime, of course! It's a capital crime, subject to a capital punishment!
Please remember the trial from yesterday, if you would. When Luke Atmey confessed, there was a huge commotion in the courtroom.
Of course, a famous detective was unmasked as well. Masked Mask.
Instead of being convicted of murder, he was found guilty of grand larceny. That was his true objective all along.
To be found guilty?
Mask the Mask had the perfect alibi for when the murder took place. He was stealing the urn at Lordly Taylor. In other words, being found guilty as Mask the Mask was Luke Atmey's airtight, watertight, and unassailable alibi.
A guilty verdict as an alibi?
You know, it's almost time.
For what?
For Luke Atmey's verdict. It was a pretty simple trial, after all. If we're gonna stop this trial and stall that one, we need to do it now. Of course. That's assuming you have proof that the detective was the one who committed the murder.
Mr. Luke Atmey's trial has indeed attracted the attention of the entire country. If we were to intrude and fail to provide adequate proof of his true crime, Mr. Delight would be left with no grounds for appeal.
Am I really sure about this? What proof do we have? Specifically for Mask to Mask. The heist. Basement office. Buzzer. Let's see. It could either be the fact that the blackmail letter is actually directed at Luke instead of at Ron, or it could be the fact that Luke knew Ron's true identity. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and save right here, just in case we lose.
Huh. A bet's only as good when your life's the... A bet's only good when your life's the ante.
Mr. Wright, I believe in you. Mr. Delight. So, please, I'm begging you. Thanks, but my decision will determine the rest of your life. Can I really risk your life like this? Phoenix! Oh, Maya, you're here? I mean, Mia? What was that? Don't stray, Phoenix! For your client, take the path of trust. That voice, it sounds like... Mia! Your Honor, the defense requests an immediate recess.
Huh. So that's your answer, huh?
Very well, I've decided as well. This court will now take a 20-minute recess. Mr. Wright, when we return, please summon Mr. Luke Atmey to the stand.
Yes, Your Honor. October 14th, 11:58 a.m., District Court, Courtroom number 5. All right. It is Winston. Well, Sir Detective Atmey. And of course, he is, absolutely killing it in the prosecution. I mean, he's got this guy on the ropes.
I have to say, Mr. Payne, you performed splendidly.
Oh no, Sir Detective Atmey, you were the one who...
Oh, this guy is something else. It's enough. This court sees no reason to further prolong this trial. This court finds the defendant, Luke Atmey.
Oh, I thought it was going to be objection. Wait! Don't hand down your verdict yet, please. Although I'm pretty sure he's still the one who committed the first heist, but not all of them.
Well, Sir lawyer, welcome to my courtroom. Who's this, Jose?
My name is Phoenix Wright, attorney at law, and I wish to file an accusation against this man, Luke Atmey. An accusation? You accused Mask. That man is not Mask to Mask. He's just a ruthless murderer.
What?
Who's the defense attorney for this trial? Or did he just choose not to have one? All right, second part of the trial. Let's go. That was fast. Ooh, I love the saving music in this game. All right, 4-2 trial. Let's go. I'm gonna go ahead and take a short break here. I'm gonna go make myself some tea, and I'll be back. It'll probably only take me like 5 minutes. Should be fine. Yep, it'll be really quick, and I'll be back in a second. Yeah, cause let's hope this goes well. Yeah. All right, yeah. 5 minutes. And we are back. I got my tea. You might be able to see the vape, the smoke coming out of it, but probably not. I'm gonna let it steep for a couple more minutes, but I'm gonna start putting in the sweetener. I don't have any Splenda today, so I'm using stevia, which I've never actually used with tea before, so that will be an interesting experience. And yeah, let's just, in the meantime, let's just go ahead and continue. October 14th, 12:14 p.m., District Court Defendant Lobby number 4. My sis? I could have sworn I heard Mia's voice. I mean, could be just, imagination. So then, is she still alive? Inside your heart? I guess. Nick boy! Oh, Mr. Light. Is it true that that detective is the real killer? To be honest, we don't have any definite proof. But he's the only one who could have done it. But wasn't he at Lord Taylor that night? Well, yes, but actually no. He was at Lordly Taylor at 1:30, but he wasn't there at 1. Not to mention, we don't exactly know his motive. Yeah, because he is actually Mask to Mask. You just don't see the big picture here, Phoenix. Alright, I think this is probably steeped enough. Give it a couple more shakes. And now let me just drain this. Ah, hot. Oh, that's hot. Ah. 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 Okay. That is that. And this is this. Let's see. I have no idea just how sweet stevia is, so I'm gonna have to be tasting this as I go along to try to see what the taste is like. So definitely more. Got it. Not to mention, we don't exactly know his motive. I mean, why would Detective Atmey want to kill Kane Bullard? Oh, I should probably set up my chat. Shit. Oops, it's almost time. Better get back to the courtroom. Is everything good over here? Yeah, okay. I need to find some solid proof. Oh, did I not open this? And it's gonna happen, and it's gotta happen sooner rather than later. October 14, 12:21 p.m., District Court, Courtroom number 6.
Now then, this court is back in session. Mr. Luke Atmey, please take the stand. Well, how do you do, sir lawyer? My true arch-nemesis. I never would have thought to see you acting so recklessly.
Couldn't let them hand down your verdict just yet. Not when it would have given you the perfect alibi. An alibi by the name of Mask de Mask.
I'm sorry. I'm afraid even the great Luke Atmey has no idea what you mean.
Oh, you're an ace detective, aren't you? Put the pieces together.
Of course. I've been in the next courtroom ever since 10 o'clock this morning. I'm afraid there's no way I could have known what's been going on in here. You've been in the defendant's seat all day long, correct? Being tried as Mask de Mask. Indeed, it's truly child's play to fool the ignorant masses. Not only did the poor souls ask me to protect their valuables, they even give me a generous reward upon returning their own property to them.
Oh, he's self-reporting now!
Take this red diamond ring that sparkles upon my divine finger, for example.
Dude, you're so cocky, and I love it! Like, this, like, Atmey is legitimately a fucking criminal genius with the crime that he had planned out here. Like, literally, he's gotten fucked by Larry being a shit security guard and Gatto being a bad prosecutor. Straight up. So, you continue and insist that you are, in fact, Masque de Masque.
Of course. Very well then, Luke Atmey. Let us begin with this simple...
Oh, fuck. Observation, I think it was? On October
12th, at 1 a.m., Kane Bullard was murdered.
What? Did my battery run out? I don't think so.
Where were you at that time? One without knowledge lacks even the knowledge that he should be ashamed of himself.
That is a phenomenon, a psychological phenomenon, indeed.
But don't worry, I will not hold it against you, Sir Judge. Thanks.
Nope. Looks like we're out of battery, boys. Back to the mouse and keyboard, then.
All right, Mr. Atmey. The night of murder. Speak. We're all ears.
As you wish, Sir Prosecutor.
Let's try for one more. See how this is. I need to get to this tea to the point where it physically cannot dissolve a single other grain of sweetener. Oh? It's getting there. It needs a little bit more, but it's getting there.
I was stealing the urn as a Masque de Masque, just as I announced I would. I had more than enough time to prepare. It was a pathetically easy job. A photograph contains no words, but in this case, one turned out to be my witness. The time at which the camera captured Masque de Masque was the same time as the murder.
The time, yes, but not the day, am I right?
It seems the main point of the discussion will be the photo of the crime scene.
Everything else up until now is all part of his plan. Alright, this should be good now. Let's get this dissolved. Let's see. Alright, yep, that will work. That will do. Let's take a full sip. It's not as good as Splenda, but damn, that's good. See, this is why Gatto keeps failing. His brain is too hopped up on caffeine for him to think clearly. He needs to have a gentleman's drink like tea. That's why I'm outsmarting him like this. And hell, Luke Atmey probably drinks tea as well, if I had to guess. Now, he's got this whole Sherlock Holmes sort of vibe to him. Okay. There has to be a secret to this picture as well.
Even the great Masque de Masque cannot be in two places at once. Now then, if you'll excuse me, I have a verdict to receive.
Unfortunately, Mr. Atmey, we still have to do your cross-examination.
A fool is too foolish to know that he is a fool.
I think he's trying to say that you're full of it, Nick. The only thing that's full of it is his alibi. The alibi. Alright, let's take a look here. Stealing the urn as Masque de Masque, just as I announced I would. That's fine. I had more time than enough time to prepare. Is a pathetically easy job. Photograph contains no words, but in this case, one turned out to be my witness. The time at which the mask captured Masque de Masque was the same time as the murder. Let's see about that.
the camera that took this photograph?
Oh, come now. It's all too clear what you're thinking. You think I altered the timestamp on the photograph, don't you?
You couldn't, but you didn't have to, because you're smart like that.
I'm afraid that's impossible. The camera was set up by Lordly Taylor, and on top of that, it was Lordly Taylor's staff that printed the picture's data. Unfortunately for the defense, there's no way the picture could have been altered.
I see!
It looks like I'd better find something else that could be suspicious. So, this alibi's fake? It has to be, or he couldn't have killed Mr. Bullard at KB Security. But I'm not really spotting anything unusual. There are two possibilities. Either that Mask in the photo is fake, or the photo itself is. I believe Adrian Andrews hired you at one point?
That's right. That was over 20 days ago, if I'm not mistaken.
You sent the calling card to Lordly Taylor 10 days before the heist. That would mean you sent out this card after you began your security watch, correct?
Indeed. There was no reason why I couldn't do both jobs at once. I was the perfect opportunity to steal my latest target.
I see! You truly are evil, aren't you?
Yes, evil is what I am.
Hey Nick, is there something odd about this? Detective Atmey was always proud of his ace detective skills, right? But if the urn was stolen from Lordly Taylor while he was the one watching it, he'd have no way to maintain his perfect ace detective persona. You know, that's true. It is kind of odd. And contains no words, but in this case, one turned out to be my witness. Let's see about that. So by photograph, you mean this piece of evidence right here? Is that correct?
Indeed it is. That is it. The very thing that proves I committed the crime.
The very thing that proves you committed the crime.
Surely you understand by now.
Lordly Taylor provided that camera. There's no way I could have tampered with it. That means I could not have killed Kane Bullard unless I had an accomplice.
Come on, think long and hard about that night. The basement warehouse and the picture that supposedly captures it. It's got to be here. Isn't there something funny in this picture? Is the paint stain wrong? It is. Interesting.
Are you implying this picture is a fake?
You bet I am. There's definitely something strange about this picture. Right, and the box with the urn doesn't have any paint on it as well. We took a look around the basement warehouse that night, before the theft took place. I mean, this is not really the approach I would take, but I guess it is an approach. And there's something in this photo that doesn't match my memory of that night.
Very well then, let's hear what you have to say. What about this photograph do you find funny?
Right over here.
Take that!
The funny part is right here.
Why, this is a blood stain!
Ah, the judge has played Danganronpa, a man of culture. A true bunkajin.
Blood! Now this case is getting interesting!
Not exactly. The stain is actually just pink paint.
No! Just paint! And peach color to that!
From blood to peaches. Judge sure loves going on his wild tangents. That's why we love him, though. The problem with this photograph is not the paint. The problem is, when you consider the layout of the basement warehouse, it turns out that something should have been there. Something that should be there is nowhere to be seen.
Well, Mr. Wright, What is supposed to be in this picture instead of the paint stains?
The statue of Amy Faye,
Take that!
which he moved out of the way. Or more so, the statue hadn't arrived when the picture was taken. The supervisor of the treasure exhibit stated the following. Well, there's a good reason for that. On the day of the crime, around noon, the golden statue just happened to arrive from the mountain training hall. Okay, it arrived on the day of the crime, meaning that the picture must have been taken before the day of the crime, 100%. I realized that the statue would have been the perfect size for covering up the paint stains. That's why I put it where you first saw it. I myself was there the night the theft took place, and saw the statue in that spot. If this picture was truly taken on that night, then that statue should have been there.
But when I went there the day after the theft, the statue of the old bag was sitting in the corner.
Yes, of course it was. Because Luke Atmey realized that that statue didn't appear in the picture, so he had to move it out of the way to solidify his, to make his picture look credible.
Perhaps it was somehow pushed there accidentally.
Your Honor, this statue is slightly larger than yourself, and quite heavy. It would take more than an accidental push to move it that distance.
In that case, can you prove it? Can you give us the rhyme and reason as to why that statue was moved that night?
I mean, it was moved, so I don't know what you're asking me here. Can you do it, Nick? Never mind who moved it. The real question is, why did they move it? To sell their fantasy, of course. Because that statue, when it arrived, became an unexpected variable, which screwed up Luke Atmey's perfect crime. So he had to remove it from where it was in order to ensure that, you know, it wasn't in the picture. But in doing so, he kind of outed himself.
Well, Mr. Wright, I hope you're prepared with your answer. Now then, who was the one who moved the statue on the night of the crime?
None other than Luke Atmey.
Take that!
The one who moved the statue is none other than Luke Atmey.
Come now, Sir Lawyer. There you go again on one of your strange delusions.
Mr. Wright, what basis have you for such strange delusions?
That's very simple. The witness was the only one in the basement warehouse that night.
That is indeed very simple. However, why would I want to move a heavy golden statue?
The reason for moving the golden statue. Here's where our battle really begins. I mean, it's pretty simple if you ask me. He faked the picture several days ago before the statue arrived, so then, you know the deal. You know the drill.
Well, Mr. Wright, what reason did the witness have to move the statue?
The reason can be found here, in this photograph. Luke Atmey, you pretended to be Mask to Mask to create an alibi by showing that you were at Lordly Taylor that night. But this photograph contains a single fatal flaw. If the statue had been there, your lie would be exposed like a cheap film at a drugstore. That's why you had to move the statue.
A single fatal flaw!
Interesting theory. Please enlighten us.
Just where
in this picture does that flaw lie?
Right here.
Take that!
The lie in this photo is somewhere around here.
Jumping to conclusions again? I think you need to take a gander in your local mirror.
As the Yiddish proverb goes, a half-truth is a whole lie. Keep lying like this and you'll be the one on trial.
Oh man, now they're calling me a liar. What the fuck? The question is, why was the statue moved, right? There was some reason the culprit didn't want the statue in the picture. At least, that's what I thought.
Ask you again, Mr. Trite. Just where in this picture does this lie exist?
Shit! I don't know. Because, I guess my train of thought here was... if the statue was there, then... God. It's not that the statue couldn't be in the picture, it's that the statue was never in the picture in the first place. Right? If that's the case, then... I don't know. I think we lose here. I don't know what I'm supposed to present here. The box? The box is a fake? The lie is Masque de Masque.
Are you saying that this Masque de Masque is fake?
Huh. You know, I really wish you would start acting more responsibly.
Huh?
Current question is, why was the golden statue moved? So what possible connection could there be with Master Mask's identity?
Oh, buggers.
Your face has "oh buggers" written all over it. That penalty's for you.
I'll ask you once again, Mr. Trite. Just where in this picture does the lie exist?
The date. The time, right? Naturally, the lie in this photo is the timestamp. Oh, okay. So it's not that it wanted me to point out why this, okay. Okay, yes, the timestamp is a lie.
What do you mean?
I'll tell you exactly what I mean. On the night in question, Luke Atmey went to KB Security and murdered Kane Bullard. Therefore, it's obvious it would have been impossible for him to have been at Lordly Taylor at this time. Okay, the game just had a bit of a weird way of wording that, my bad. But yeah, it's essentially what I've been saying since, like, the last episode, so this is fine.
What does that have to do with the statue being moved?
Remember, if you will, Your Honor. Hold on, give me a second. There. When was this statue placed beside the warehouse door?
Well,
The statue was taken down to the warehouse on the day of the crime, and it was placed there in order to cover up the paint.
Exactly. Luke Atmey had already decided on the time when he was going to kill the victim. And so, in order to create an alibi for that time, he took this picture days before the murder took place.
what the?
Of course, the statue was yet to be brought down to the basement where the statue had yet to be brought down to the basement. Hadn't yet been brought down to the basement warehouse yet.
Ah!
So, on the day of the crime, Atmey must have been quite nervous. As nervous as a long-tailed cat in a rocking chair factory, so to speak. Why? Because something like that wasn't supposed to be there. And being brought down in place had been brought down in place where it wasn't supposed to be. And that is why Luke Atmey had to move the statue on the night of the murder. Hey Tara, how's it going? It's been a while. He did it to make the room match with the way it had been in the photo.
Ah!
The OST of this game rocks. Yeah, I absolutely love the music in this game. Holy shit, it's fantastic.
One moment, Your Honor. Have you forgotten this? What is that? The data for the basement warehouse computer. According to this, the camera did indeed go off on the night of the crime.
It's true that the camera had been set up by Lordly Taylor's staff. Yeah. Good minute, be right back in a minute or something. Yeah, of course. However, the program used to manage the data was yours. That alone would have allowed you to tamper with the data.
Order! Mr. Gatto, what is the meaning of this? Gatto, I warned you about making me wait! Now put that coffee down!
My 11th cup. I promised to drink no more than 17 during a trial, which means I'm still good till the last drop.
However, the defense has a very good point.
Yeah, this trial is remarkably easy.
A good point. So what? We are all but travelers on a road of infinite points.
I think he's got these points mixed up with his other points.
So, you say this photograph is taken ahead of this time?
Gatto's theme is great, yes, but he might also just be the worst prosecutor in the trilogy. Like, I'm not even joking when I say this. He's actually garbage.
And that statue is moved in order to make a match. That's a very interesting idea, however.
Nocturne HD releases in 4 days. Hell yeah, I'm gonna be playing it. Not on release day. I'm gonna be playing it next Wednesday. I'm gonna be starting it off. Very excited.
There's one point that can't be denied.
Which is?
That is only a possibility.
This is not how prosecution works! You've gotta present evidence! You can't just say!
Not good enough, Mr. Wright, but I'm just gonna refuse to present any evidence to the contrary. Men that are trapped by the chains of maybe can never reach their dreams.
If that is the truth, then we should acquit Ron Delight right fucking now, because you have yet to present a single piece of evidence for your case. I'm doing all the work here!
I guess so long you see why Gordo is like he is.
Probably.
That's very true.
Oh, no way. Don't fall for that, Your Honor. It's just really weird that the game treats him as, like, such a great prosecutor. Literally, Phoenix calls him the most dangerous opponent he's ever faced, when in reality, he's, like, the dumbest fucking prosecutor in this entire game. It's like the Virgin Edgeworth presenting evidence to counteract the defense's arguments versus the Chad Gatto ignoring the defense's arguments completely. Playing on PC? Yeah, of course.
Hey, Mr. Damask.
Yes?
If there's no funny business in your actions as Damask, there should be no problem with you telling us your strategy. So let's hear it.
Yes, please provide this court with your testimony about your plan to steal the secret urn.
Witness testimony. The secret urn heist.
I first received the request from Lordly Taylor about 28 days ago.
Anyone else show up today? Owen dropped by to say hi, but no, not really.
The urn was placed in a box, and Zavari! It was then sent to the warehouse. Hence, I was actually unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. I knew it was an extremely valuable treasure, so I sent my card 10 days beforehand. I then handled security by myself to ensure that my crime would go smoothly. At last, I held the urn in my hands for the first time at 1 a.m. on October 12th.
If Luke Atmey was half as good a criminal as he is, Ron Delight would have been acquitted literally on the first day, completely, of all charges. Because Gatto is getting absolutely carried by Atmey right now. Holy shit. There's pretty much all the stuff we've heard before, isn't it? Yeah, but we will find the truth hidden in the nuggets of new information he gave.
Witness, you're sure there are no mistakes this time? Zavari! Very well then, Mr. Wright. You may begin your cross-examination.
That's not a yes! Thanks. I just had a nice cup of tea, so my vocal cords are in tip-top shape. First received the request 20 days ago, that makes sense. Urn was placed in a box, and it was sent to the warehouse. Hence, I was actually unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. I knew it was extremely valuable treasure, sent my card. I then handled security by myself to ensure that my crime would go smoothly. At last, I held the urn in my hands for the first time at 1 a.m. on October 12th. The urn was placed in a box, and Zavari was sent to the warehouse. Let's talk about that. You mean this box?
Yes, that pathetic box.
Hey, I put a lot of work into that box, you know? You're a meanie. Alright, Maya, stop insulting the witness, although it is true. He is a meanie.
Lady Andrews was especially taken with the urn, and she wouldn't let anyone enter the storeroom, not even me.
Huh, interesting new tidbit.
Hence, I was actually unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime.
So, you're sure you had never seen that urn before?
Indeed. You may ask Lady Andrews to confirm for yourself. My security was focused entirely on the entrance to the warehouse. However, I, Luke Atmey, let no information whatsoever slip through my fingers.
So I sent my card 10 days beforehand. And then handled security myself to ensure my crime would go smoothly. Then no one entered the basement warehouse.
Unfortunately, there were many different treasures being taken there. Thus, for a period of approximately 5 days, people were indeed going in and out of the warehouse.
So I held the urn in my hands for the first time on 1 a.m. on October 12th. And this is the photo that proves that, correct?
Indeed. To be honest, even if a photo was taken, I didn't think it would mean that it wouldn't matter terribly much.
Hey Nick, if this photo is fake, Detective Atmey might have stolen the urn whenever this was taken. That's true. You know, he's been saying that he never saw the urn until that night. If we can prove that he's lying there, we can wrap this up and put a bow on it. I need to take a good hard look at the court record. Not a lot to go on, is there? That detective's been covering his tracks. There's only one thing we need to prove in this cross-examination. That he took this photo well before the actual night of the crime. Alright then, how do we do that? There's one thing that Amy stated very clearly, that he had never seen the urn before he stole it. We may need to prove that he's lying. See the request. Put a box sent to the warehouse. I was unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. There's an extremely valuable treasure sent my card 10 days before. But you didn't know then. By the way, this Sunday Persona 4 stream, 110%. I haven't made the event yet, but we will definitely be doing Persona 4 this Sunday. Don't you worry. You mean this calling card?
That's right! That is without a doubt my calling card.
Honestly, the way it's looking, it might just be me. Bryce and Luca might have just straight up quit. We'll see about that. But I don't care. I'm not putting that series off any longer. I guess Mr. Delight didn't make this after all. Of course, because Atmey knew about the emblem. Making this card authentic would have been child's play for him. Held security to ensure that my crime would go smoothly. Held the urn in my arm and in my hands for the first time at 1 a.m. on October 12th. Extremely valuable treasure, hence I was unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. Well, let's take a look at what piece of evidence do we have here? The exhibit, warehouse camera, security camera photo, blackmail letter, CEO publicity photo, the brooch, the autopsy report, cerebral hemorrhaging from blunt trauma to the head, newspaper clippings, CEO office buzzer, Ron's testimony, broken and repaired by Adrian, then replaced in its box, kept out of sight. That was 2 weeks ago, so that was before, no, that was after he was hired. He was hired 20 days ago. Yeah, it was only kept out of sight after it was broken. Meaning that he must have seen it before then, right? Oh, God. If we get this wrong, we lose here, so I'm gonna go ahead and save. But I think this is the one.
Objection!
And we fucked it. Fuck. It's funny, shame Bryce aren't with us, but whatever. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see if they show up, I guess. Shit, I'm not even sure what I'm supposed to be here.
Hold it!
Oh, fuck. My bad. Just hit the microphone there. You were asked to guard the urn by Miss Adrian Andrews, is that right?
Indeed, it seemed that they had heard of my Zavrackling reputation.
This is my new favorite word. I see, Miss Andrews is still attracting the weirdos. You'd better watch out too, Maya. It was placed in a box in Zavari. It was sent to the warehouse.
Hold it!
You mean this box?
Yes, the pathetic box. Lady Andrews is especially taken with the urn, and she would never let anyone enter the storeroom, not even me.
Huh, interesting new tidbit.
And I was actually unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime.
So you're sure that you had never seen the urn before?
Indeed. If you may ask Lady Andrews to confirm for yourself. My security is focused entirely on the entrance to the warehouse. However, I, Luke Atmey, let no information whatsoever slip through my fingers.
Sent my card 10 days beforehand. You mean this calling card?
That's right, that is, without a doubt, my calling card.
I secured myself so I ensured the crime would go smoothly. Then no one entered the basement warehouse.
Unfortunately, there are many different treasures being taken there. Thus, for a period of approximately 5 days, people were indeed going in and out of the warehouse. At last, I held the urn in my hands for the first time at 1 a.m. on October 12th.
Hold it!
And this is the photo that proves that, huh?
Indeed, to be honest, even if this photo was taken, I didn't think it would matter terribly much.
Hey, Nick! This photo is a fake. Detective Atmey might have stolen the urn whenever this was taken. He never saw that urn last night. If we can prove that he was lying there. What do we need here? I just guess we're playing Ace Attorney, not gonna lie. That's one way to do it, I guess. Card 10 days beforehand. Okay. Sent the envelope's top secret, warehouse, camera, mask attacked at me in the back of the head, storeroom entrance, Blackmail Letter, Ron's wallet, CEO of the office key card, shot of mask-to-mask striking a pose, the brooch, list, the buzzer, the testimony, the urn. Adrian dropped the urn 2 weeks ago. She also knocked over some paint. So, I mean, we know it wasn't a valuable treasure, but we don't have the evidence to say that it wasn't. Alright, I don't think if this is the one that we presented, maybe?
Objection!
Nope, that's wrong. Okay. So let me try out on the other one. Playing Ace Attorney. Why does Gordo have muscles in the thumbnail? I also, I don't know, I really, because he's the Chad that doesn't give a shit about the defense's evidence. Oh, Narukami, welcome. I also added him to the channel banner. He's up there now. Now security, okay.
Hands for the first time at 1 a.m. on October 12th. Okay.
Objection!
No. You can't prove this. And the fact that we're out of health is not great. Warehouse. Camera data, the night of the crime. Knocked at me in the head. Well, it was taking out to be photographed, right? But the key card, the publicity photo, the brooch, the autopsy report, the list. Has to be one of these two. Card 10 days beforehand. I then handled security by myself to ensure that my crime would go smoothly. If he handled security himself, he would have been able to do it at any time. Right? Yeah, let's get the hint again. Not a lot to go on, is there? The detective's been covering his tracks. There's only one thing we need to prove in this cross-examination. That he took this photo well before the actual night of the crime. Alright then, how do we do that? There's one thing that Atmey stated very clearly. That he had never seen the urn before he stole it. We need to prove that he's lying. I never actually, well, it wasn't. It was it was actually, they took a picture of it, right?
Objection!
No, I guess that's not it. I legitimately have no idea what I'm supposed to do here. In a box and Zavari, it was sent to the warehouse.
Objection!
Oh, shit. Unless... Do we have anything in the profiles, maybe? One cover for the heist. Isn't Philip Master Math. Security. Valuable treasure, so set my card 10 days beforehand. Right, that's fine. In my hands for the first time at 1 a.m. on October 12th. Did you? Trying to purloin the most priceless work of art on the display in your Treasures of Kurain exhibit. Take good care of that speckled urn. Speckled. Is he? There we go. You hold the urn. You had never seen the urn beforehand. Truly. Fuck you. He saw the urn
The only reason he was able to say the urn was speckled is, well, because he knew that it was covered in paint. But the thing is, he could have only known that if he had seen it after Adrian Andrews had put it away. And then that means that he actually stole the urn before he sent the calling card. Or at least that he saw the urn. We don't know if he actually stole it before sending the calling card, but it is a possibility, quite honestly. Very clever. I was just confused as to what the game meant by speckled. But yeah, rereading that's definitely what it's trying to say. Mr. Atmey, if you really are Mask the Mask, then you also wrote this calling card, correct?
But of course!
Is there a problem with the calling card?
Allow me to read a passage of the calling card that Mask the Mask had written. Take good care of the speckled urn. Now, the speckled here surely refers to this pink pattern on the sacred urn.
Yes, that is true, but so what?
The truth be told, there's no way that Mask the Mask could have known about this pattern.
What do you mean?
This pink spotted pattern on the urn is actually nothing more than paint stains.
Paint stains?
And these stains did not appear until after the urn had been taken to Lordly Taylor.
I'm not finding this joke very funny, Mr. Trite.
The day the sacred urn was taken to the warehouse. Yes, he is indeed very sus. The urn was broken due to human error. Or should I say, an error-prone human. Oh, poor Adrian. She just can't get a break. And that's when the pink paint got on the urn.
You can't be serious, partner.
And yet this calling card clearly mentions the pink pattern. Which means Detective Atmey had seen this urn long before the crime ever took place. In fact, he saw it when his fake photo was taken. And because this photo is fake, your alibi for the night of the murder no longer holds water. He truly set himself up for that one. He also brought a lot of attention earlier on to his red gem on his finger, which is going to be the news we will use to hang him on. You know?
Witness, do you have anything to say for yourself?
Alright, that did it. You know, because of course, the blackmail letter is actually directed at me, not at Ron. That's way too fucking obvious. Nick, I think it's still a little early for a victory pose. What now?
It's so sad. No one has any conviction these days.
Conviction, you say?
Yesterday, we all decided unanimously that this man was Mask the Mask. Now we're calling him a murderer.
Well, he technically is Mask the Mask.
Don't you think we're being a tad fickle?
This is not how evidence, logical reasoning, or the law works, you fucking idiot! Oh my god! We thought one thing yesterday, therefore we cannot think a different thing now? What? What is this negative brain IQ? What? Holy shit, he's an idiot, dude!
That's a good point!
No, it isn't! No way, don't fall for that too! Like, even Phoenix gets the fact that Gatto is just bullshitting his way through the entire trial. He just sounds confident when he says his bullshit and the judge just eats it up. Holy shit.
You say that Luke Atmey was the one who killed Kane Bullard? Well, let me ask you this. Why would he do that?
An excellent point! Motive, Mr. Wright, motive! Might you my merry murderous motive manifest?
Oh, I love him so much! That alliteration that is some top tier alliteration. Might you my merry murderer's motive manifest? Oh, it's so good. I love him. Can we not try you for murder? Can you become the prosecutor instead of Gatto? Because you're so much better at his job than he is. Nick, he's getting his second wind. Like, not even Gatto was the one to call for motive. It was fucking Luke.
If he prepared an alibi and pinned his crime on Ron Delight, as you say, he must have had a very strong motive for the murder.
The only one with any motive we've seen is Ron Delight. Isn't that right, Detective?
Indeed. According to my own research, the boy's motive is clear.
Why is he still treating him like a detective? This guy, he's an ace criminal more than anything.
Without a motive, it's nearly impossible to prove guilt in a murder case. Now then, maybe you can enlighten us as to what the defendant's motives were.
I'd be honored to, Sir Old Timer.
They're doing everything they can to make Ron look suspicious. Despite our lack of hard information, this might be our only chance. Motive for murder.
I, Luke Atmey, had no points of contact with the victim whatsoever. That's a lie. Kane Bullard decided to investigate Master Mask and simply mistook who he was. It was Mr. Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter and sent it to Ron Delight. And it was again Mr. Bullard who harbored a grudge against Mr. Delight for his betrayal. Mr. Bullard's mistake is quite inexcusable. The defendant truly believes he is Master Mask. That is why Mr. Delight saw it fit to kill Kane Bullard. Such a tragedy.
So the victim, Kane Bullard, blackmailed the defendant?
This is the blackmail letter found in the defendant's apartment. A handwritten test confirms Mr. Bullard was indeed the one who wrote the letter.
What? Exactly! Like, it's so fucking obvious. We knew it was Kate Bullard who wrote the letter, you idiot! It's just that he didn't direct it at Ron. He sent the letter to Luke. Also, Luke Atmey is clearly projecting. He's saying that Ron Bullard held a grudge against Ron. However, Luke had no reason to know about the reason for Ron's firing, right? He's projecting because he himself had betrayed Bullard earlier, and that's why he got sent the letter.
Very well, Mr. Wright. Begin your cross-examination.
He's a clever one. Because by using Bullard's letter, he could make it seem like the one getting blackmailed was Ron. No point of contact with the victim whatsoever. Kane Bullard decided to investigate Master Mask and simply mistook who he was. You play Apollo Justice and Newly Chance Great Ace Attorney games? At some point or another. I don't know if they're going to be coming to PC. If they are, I'll probably wait until then. If not, then I'll probably, just hook up an emulator and start playing them, but we'll see. Right now, I'm just focusing on the trilogy, and then after that on, I want to focus on Danganronpa once I'm done with this trilogy. Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter and sent it to Ron Delight. It was again Mr. Bullard who harbored a grudge against Mr. Delight for his betrayal. Except that you didn't know about Delight's betrayal and are in fact projecting about your own betrayal. Mr. Bullard's mistake is quite excusable. The defendant truly believes he is Master Mask. That is why Delight saw it fit to kill Kane Bullard. Truly a tragedy. Alright. Except for the fact that we've already proved that it's impossible for Ron to have done the murder, but, I guess we're just ignoring all the evidence and arguments that I've ever presented because this guy says so. Because, this is retardation incarnate. Bullard harbored a grudge. Yeah, you want to talk about this grudge? What do you mean by that? Oh my, I'm certain you were already aware. Zavari!
Maybe security has a lot of security info on all sorts of companies. And since I was a security team chief, I stole data from the company.
Oh, right. Okay, so he does know that. Well, then the question is, how do you know that, Zavari man? Kane Bullard had yet to forgive Miss Young Delight, which is why he sent him that letter upon mistakenly believing he was the thief.
Here is the file that we discovered in Mr. Bullard's office. Evidence that Mr. Bullard was receiving money through blackmail.
Is that what he thinks?
However, isn't this a bit odd? Why did the defendant pay Mr. Bullard the money, even though he wasn't actually Master Mask?
On that point, there was an unfortunate bit of chance. The thing is, he literally can't have done that because he doesn't have the money for that, you fucking idiot! It is quite excusable that the defendant truly believes he is Mask de Mask.
Hold it!
You mean this blackmail letter, right here, green envelope.
It says, bring $50,000.
And the handwriting is, without a doubt, the victim's?
There's no mistake. We have an official report to prove it.
See, well, what's important now is figuring out. So we know who sent the letter. We know the contents of the letter. But you're all wrong about who the letter was actually meant for.
But I don't see an addressee on this letter anywhere.
An addressee. There we go.
This letter was delivered to Ron Delight's apartment. And Mr. Delight did show up at the designated place and time. The fact that there is no addressee is irrelevant.
I wonder. What's up, Nick? I just had a thought. What if that blackmail letter wasn't meant for Mr. Delight? You're finally catching on, Phoenix. You're just, like, about 24 hours late? Oh, do you have any evidence of that? For some reason, I just can't shake the feeling that I do. That there's something not quite right about this blackmail letter.
Well, everyone, are you quite satisfied?
Alright, I'm going for it. I think this is the right thing to do right now. It's finally time to unveil... Gordo's last sentence is literally a paradox. Which one? For, this one?
Hold it!
Here's a file that we discovered in Mr. Bullard's office. Evidence that Mr. Bullard was receiving money through blackmail. Not a bit odd. The defendant paid Mr. Bullard the money, even though he wasn't actually Master Mask. How is that a paradox? I don't see it. No, the issue here is, I mean, we've known this literally since the first day of the trial. When Atmey showed up to testify for the very first time, and I saw his fucking red gem, I knew, you know, that he was the one that the letter was meant for. All the way back then. It's just taken this long for Phoenix. You have no official report providing it, but it was without a doubt the victim's handwriting. Interesting. Yeah, I'm just ignoring him at this point. I'm employing his own strategy against him. Any sentence that comes out of his mouth is completely worthless bullshit, so I'm just gonna focus on my actual true opponent, Atmey, who is really, he's the one that built the case. He's the one that's really prosecuting Ron, if we're being honest here. So, yeah, he sent the blackmail letter, but you didn't. Oh, fuck, it was on the first page, fuck.
Objection!
Mind if I ask you a few questions, Detective Atmey?
Well, if it's just a few, I guess it's all right.
When you said that this letter was addressed to Rhonda Light, I couldn't help but notice one major contradiction.
Contradiction? I don't know where a walking contradiction like you gets us saying things like that.
You're one to talk! Literally! What did he just contribute to the discussion? He just throws out random ass one-liners to look cool, and they make no sense.
At times like these, men are made to express themselves with their fists. Why don't you show us what you've got there, Junior?
Indeed! Time to man up, Mr. Wright! Show us the contradicting evidence in the content of the blackmail letter!
It's the, So the world, come to KV Security at 1 a.m. on October 20th and bring $50,000. If you don't, I'll take that red diamond you received the other day instead. Yeah, of course. Phone batteries always, you know. What does it want me to present here? I love how we're also just completely glossing over the fact that his alibi doesn't even exist anymore, but sure, whatever. The buzzer record went off at once at 1:02 a.m. Contradiction in the content of the blackmail letter. What am I supposed to contradict here? Like, the contradiction is the blackmail letter itself, right? Contradicting evidence in the content of the blackmail letter. If you don't want your true identity revealed to the world, come to KB Security at 1 a.m. on October 12th and bring $50,000. If you don't, I'll take that red diamond you received that other day instead. Yeah, it's obviously the red diamond, but I guess the fact that he never stole a red diamond, maybe? Because this should give us the, this are all the things he's stolen, right? Let's try.
Take that!
Huh. A little 2-1 punch like that wouldn't even faze me.
Objection!
I think you mean 1-2 punch.
Mr. Wright! Try thinking things through a little more before finding fault with others!
Fuck! Oh, well, let's try that one again.
Objection!
So let's hear Phoenix's wording here, because I'm not sure what it wants me to say. I'm having a few questions. When he said this letter was addressed to Rhonda Light, I couldn't help but notice one major contradiction. Contradiction? Is it just the letter itself?
Take that! Objection!
Nope. Okay, then what next? Yeah, I'm not sure what it wants me to say here, because it's not like I can present evidence to this effect, you know?
Objection!
There's one major contradiction. Measure exit poster. Amy Faye Golden statue. Damask's calling card. Camera data. Shichishito security camera photo. What is the contradiction here? If you don't want your true identity revealed to the world, that's fine. Rhonda Light had a secret identity.
come to KB Security at 1 a.m. on October 12th and bring $50,000. 1 a.m. on October 12th and bring $50,000. Okay? If you don't, I'll take that red diamond you received the other day instead. The issue is the red diamond, but we don't have that in our evidence pool. Around 1 a.m. Bond's wallet. Publicity photo. The brooch. Is it that the gem was... No, because that was blue, not red. Table of the crime scene, buzzer record, Ron's testimony, secret urn. Is it the fact that the fucking... that the tier of Eminon is blue? Is this what it's asking about?
Take that!
Take a good look at this newspaper clipping. Okay. Okay, this is just dumb. That's dumb. It's like, okay, I guess we needed that to show that the tier of Eminon was actually blue, not red. Fucking hell. Okay, whatever. That's dumb. It contains a picture of the tier of Eminon, the stolen jewel.
What about it?
The problem is the jewel's color.
Color. I'm not much for discussing color myself.
According to the clipping, the color of the stolen jewel was blue. However, in the blackmail letter, a totally different jewel is mentioned. I'll take that red diamond you received the other day.
Red!
Which means the red diamond described in the blackmail letter is not the tier of Eminon that Master Mask stole at all.
Objection!
And your point is, Mr. Trite, so you're trying to say that this blackmail letter was intended for someone else? That is what you're trying to say, right, Trite?
What is it that you're... That is what you were trying to say, right, Mr. Right?
Well, that is what you were trying to say, right, Nick?
Yes!
This is who Kane Bullard was actually blackmailing. Oh, Jesus Christ, that was a really roundabout way of doing that. Holy shit. Naturally, it was you, Detective Atmey.
Do you have some sort of basis for your claim?
You have been personally involved in every single mask-to-mask case. And in the last case, you recovered what was stolen and received a jewel as your reward.
A jewel?
Probably the one wrapped conspicuously around your little finger right now. That red diamond ring.
Yeah.
That is the diamond referred to in the letter. Which means that Kane Bullard wrote the letter in order to blackmail you. Ah!
Order! Order in the court! Order, I say!
It seems you've gone too far with your childish pranks, Mr. Trite.
What? I don't like the way you said that.
Kane Bullard blackmailing Luke Atmey? Are you for real?
Yes, I am. Nick, come on, stand up to him.
Then answer me this. The blackmail letter contains the following passage. If you don't want your identity revealed to the world.
Yes, it certainly does!
Kane Bullard threatened to make Luke Atmey's identity public knowledge. An identity he wanted kept secret. So just what was that identity?
Atmey killed Kane Bullard because he was afraid of his secret becoming known. What was the identity he wanted to keep secret? This is what it all comes down to, Nick. The identity that Luke Atmey wanted to desperately keep secret was his identity as... well, technically Mask the Mask, but actually a blackmailer.
Luke Atmey was a blackmailer and the true mastermind behind Mask to Mask. Although he didn't really don the costume himself.
Hey now, isn't that a little different from what you've been saying? You said that Kane Bullard was the one who blackmailed Luke Atmey. Are you saying that Atmey was blackmailing someone else on top of that?
You have to admit, that does sound a little odd. It's not odd. It's the only thing that makes any sense around here. Kane Bullard was blackmailing Luke Atmey. But Rhonda Light was also being blackmailed by a certain someone. So, did you start receiving the blackmail letters after this incident? Yes, just a few days after the Tear of Emanon heist. After that, I started getting the plans in the mail. I received plans from some very kind person. Incredibly detailed plans.
Detailed plans? In which case, that would mean Rhonda Light was actually Mask to Mask.
That is what we are claiming. Someone else came up with the plans and had Mr. Delight steal his targets for him. And that someone was none other than Luke Atmey. Shh! Silence!
Now I see. It's all becoming clear.
What is?
When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Careless, with a tendency to jump to conclusions. Am I wrong?
How did you know? Oh God.
You say that I, Luke Atmey, was blackmailing Rhonda Light. In which case, I would naturally know all about his relation to Master Mask. Well, yes. Rhonda Light started receiving plans from his second crime onward, correct? Which means I learned of his identity when he committed the first crime. Good point. You certainly could have blackmailed him otherwise. In that case, let's see some hot, bitter evidence. During the first crime, how did Luke Atmey know that Rhonda Light was Master Mask?
Take that!
I think I see it.
See what?
When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Gets into lots of mischief, trying to be the center of attention.
What do you mean?
This newspaper clipping. This is a picture of you and Rhonda Light in his guard uniform. It seems that Master Mask didn't just disappear into the thin air. He just took off his outfit and hid it in a bucket.
That sounds far too stupid to be true!
But it is!
Correct!
With tricks like that, he couldn't fool a baby, let alone an ace detective. And that's when you figured it out, Mr. Atmey. That's when you learned that your actions have consequences!
What the? Wasn't he supposed to be Master Mask?
Not only that, it looks like he wasn't even an ace detective.
Oh, I can't believe it. He was just a simple blackmailer.
What a fraud trying to pass himself off as an ace detective!
Why, you... How dare you expose me like that? Why, I mean, I've never blackmailed anyone in my life! I'm a famous and proud ace detective, and also Mask to Mask! Why can't you understand that?
I'm afraid you are neither a proud thief nor an ace detective. You're a blackmailer and a murderer. That is your true identity.
Why, you? How dare you
you start to imply? Cloudy of the infulgence yourself and these big mouths of yours were all fools, I say. None of you could have came from the Judas. You're all jealous, saloon. Just a criminal comes to somebody right there. It is significantly great thanks, detective, and not handle family's murder threats. I said you to make one laugh. Oh God, he just had an old bag moment right there. Holy shit.
It would seem we've finally arrived at the real answer.
That was quite a performance by Mr. Atmey.
Bailiff, please prepare a cell for Mr. Atmey.
What the fuck?
The hammer that strikes too fast. There's no time to aim.
You fucker.
What do you mean? I'm already prepared to deliver my ruling.
Now allow me to say one thing. I will be the one to judge.
This is not how the fucking law works, dude. It's also a JoJo reference, so at least I can appreciate that one. But as much as I appreciate the JoJo reference, dude, you sound like an idiot right now. You haven't even been the one to prosecute. How the hell are you gonna judge shit? You don't get much more in your face than that.
It appears that your claws weren't quite sharp enough, Mr. Trite.
What are you...
It's true that you've proven a lot of things.
Okay, what's the but? What's the but?
I'm not racist, but...
Like...
It's true you've proven that Rondelai was framed, that the Blackmail Letter was meant for Luke Atmey, who clearly knew the true identity of Master Mask and who was more than likely blackmailing him and was the true mastermind. But things like Luke Atmey was a filthy blackmailer and that he wasn't at Lordly Taylor that night of the murder.
That's right, that's why he's the one who killed Mr.
But there's still one thing you have yet to prove.
What's that?
Just because he wasn't at the warehouse doesn't mean he was at the murder scene. Therefore, if you can't prove that this pitiful excuse for a man was a KB security,
He had to go there! He was being blackmailed! You've literally said...
I acknowledged that he was being blackmailed and was forced to go to KB security, but you can't prove that he actually went to KB security. Then I don't see how a verdict can be delivered.
No way!
Order in the court! Well, Mr. Wright!
This is it! This is the final round! I've got to prove that Atmey was at Mr. Bullard's office on that night. But can you really prove that? Yes! Because he called the police at 1:30 in the morning, meaning that, you know, because he was at KB Security, which is exactly half an hour away from Lordly Taylor. So he had to get to Lordly Taylor and, you know, set up his alibi in order to, you know, call the police.
That's long enough. Mr. Trite, I want to hear your answer.
That night, Luke Atmey was at KB Security, and the defense will save. Alright, what can the defense do? Treasure exhibit poster, Amy Faye Golden statue, Master Mask calling card.
Camera went off at around 1 a.m. Foot of the storeroom entrance, the blackmail letter, the wallet. The key card, the publicity photo, the brooch. Autopsy report. The newspaper clipping, the buzzer. The list. The buzzer. Urn. I don't know. I don't know if I can prove him being there. The thing is, I don't have to. It's obvious. There's literally no one else who had a motive to kill Bullard. I can't. I don't think I can. I can't prove it.
Just as I thought!
But if you hear more of Detective Atmey's testimony...
Unfortunately, that's as far as you go, Mr. Trite.
What do you mean?
I won't allow any more testimony, and that's what I mean.
This is... You won't allow more testimony? Because you know what is hidden in that testimony. You're literally purposely trying to cover for him. Like... What?
Have you forgotten? Luke Atmey is here after we interrupted his own trial. And you have failed to prove that he committed the murder. Now I think it's time for this witness to return to his own trial and face his guilty verdict as Master Mask.
Oh.
Well now, sir lawyer, it seems that love wins out in the end after all. I am the ace detective as well as Master Mask. My verdict will verify that. Just as Rhonda Light's verdict, just as Rhonda Lights will verify that he is the true murderer. I declare that with the full force of my ace detectiveness. Order in the court. That's enough deliberation over this witness.
I can't believe this. At this rate, Ron is... Don't give up now, Nick. We still have tomorrow. We can look for more evidence and... By then, it'll be too late. Huh? Why?
Double Jeopardy. One of the basic rules of any court of law.
Double Jeopardy?
Should a defendant be found innocent in court, that defendant cannot be tried again for the same crime. That is a fundamental rule of all courts, and it applies to this witness as much as it applies to anyone else.
Mr. Atmey will be found guilty in a matter of minutes. Guilty as Master Mask, which means
he will be innocent as far as the murder of Kane Bullard is concerned.
That's not how Double Jeopardy works. Like, that's straight up not how it works. Double Jeopardy still means that he's not being tried for the murder of Kane Bullard. He's being tried for the robbery, meaning that a guilty verdict can be overturned. An innocent verdict can't be, but a guilty verdict can. So even if him being guilty for the robbery doesn't declare him innocent of the murder. It can be evidence to prove his innocence if he were ever brought up in court, but it itself is not a declaration of innocence. Therefore, Double Jeopardy does not apply in this situation, I'm pretty sure. No way.
The fact that you were unable to prove Mr. Atmey's guilt of the crime here means that he will never again be tried as Kane Bullard's murderer.
Now there's nothing I can possibly do to win. Even if Ron is proclaimed to be innocent. The real killer, Luke Atmey, go free.
You have cross-examined every witness, every statement the witness has made here today. And as long as there is no more testimony, I'm afraid I have to declare that there will be no further questioning of this witness. Are there any objections? Then I hereby end the cross-examination of Luke Atmey.
Objection!
I think I see it. Your Honor, when you were a child, this is what was on your report card every year. Who is this objection? Is this Mia? Has poor hearing and often makes mistakes as a result.
How did you?
Phoenix, raise your head up high. Have you forgotten what I used to tell you? A lawyer is someone who smiles, no matter how bad it gets. That voice. No way. Long time no see, Phoenix.
Mia?
This is the true power of the Kurain channeling technique. I know that it's really Maya who's standing before me, but right now, she's my mentor, Mia Fey. She's reached her final form. Now, let's do this. But there's nothing more we can do, Mia. Without any more testimony, I can't cross-examine. Not yet. The testimony's not over yet. What do you mean? Your Honor, just... Now, you said something very interesting. You've cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today. But I haven't.
Yes, that's true, but...
Unfortunately, Your Honor, you're forgetting something. Earlier, after the last cross-examination, this witness made a number of remarks.
Right, all of his, his giant incoherent stream of gibberish.
Well now, Sir Lawyer, it seems that love wins out in the end after all. I am the ace detective, as well as Master Mask. My verdict will verify that. Just as Rhonda Light will verify that he is the true murderer.
Rhonda Lights.
I declare that for the full force of my ace detectiveness.
Yes, but these comments appear to have no importance whatsoever.
Very well, then we shall prove their importance via cross-examination. At any rate, as long as the witness has made these remarks, we, the defense, assert our right to question them. Is that all right with you, Prosecutor?
Is something the matter, Mr. Gatto?
Nothing. Oh, Sir Lawyer, it looks like you're one step too late. If you think such falsehoods will do me anything, look at... Let's hear it. Huh? It's true that the witness has made some remarks. So then, let's hear this last bit of cross-examination.
Mr. Gatto, what are you? Very well then, Luke Atmey. I'm going to allow the defense to cross-examine your earlier remarks.
The defense would like to hear what you declared the defendant to be The defense would like to hear why you declare the defendant to be the true murderer.
So please, give us one last bit of testimony.
Phoenix, this is it. This is our absolute last chance. Yes, Chief.
All right, let's get it. The last testimony.
Indeed, it is true that I was not Lordly Taylor. I had to leave to see about another vitally important job request. I'd known about the date beforehand, so I had this photograph readied. My brilliant deduction was what informed me the true culprit was Rhonda Light. And thanks to the keycard and wallet, it was abundantly clear he was there. And also, I was able to make a deduction from the buzzer, which only sounded once.
And, you knew this how?
The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? The victim would have left prints if he sounded it, which means the killer sounded it. Mr. Delight was wearing his Master Mask outfit, which is why he left no prints. And the blackmail letter, the victim likely just mistook the color of the jewel. Zavari! Therefore, all the evidence points to that poor boy.
That testimony actually seems to hold up pretty well.
No!
No, he's grasping. That is the worst testimony I've ever heard. Like, come on, dude. Come on. Really? You yourself claimed that you were stuck in the in your own trial since 10 a.m. this morning, meaning that you had no idea about anything that happened during the proceedings of our trial, right? So while some of that information, like the fact that the buzzer had no fingerprints, you could have learned about before the trial, you could have never learned about two facts that you stated. That the buzzer went off once, because literally not even the prosecution knew that, or that he was wearing the Masque de Masque outfit, because that piece of info was revealed during the trial today.
The witness' earlier remarks do not appear to have been hastily prepared. All of his points have been explained, and none of them seem to contradict anything.
But of course.
But how did you know about the emergency buzzer?
The police investigation documents went directly through me, and I always look over all the documents. It's elementary, sir lawyer. Are you going to make even more trouble for us now, sir lawyer?
Of course I am. You can bet your fucking ass on it.
I will not allow any of your usual shenanigans, Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor.
We cannot postpone Luke Atmey's trial any longer. This is your last chance.
Hang on a second. Just one chance.
It seems that the party's about to begin.
Okay, so if I waste the court's time even once, I get reprimanded, but fucking Gatto has been wasting the court's time for the entire trial? Literally, in the entire time here, he's only made a single remark of any value or substance, and that was, can you prove that he was at the office? That's literally it. 2 days, a single useful remark. Well, Phoenix, there isn't any evidence that contradicts with that testimony. So it would seem. What do you mean, so it would seem? Listen, Phoenix, pointing out contradictions doesn't always mean you have to present evidence, does it? At any rate, this is our last chance. If you can't point out a case-breaking contradiction, you lose. That's all there is to it.
Cup number 17. The last cup. It seems like time has come to put an end to this trial.
I have to find a fatal contradiction in this testimony. And I need to point it out without presenting evidence? Which means all I can do is find the contradictory remark and press it. Remember, you only get one chance.
Very well then, Mr. Wright. Begin your final cross-examination.
You know what? I'm so confident on this, I'm not even going to save. How about the date beforehand? Fingerprints sound.
Hold it!
Mr. Atmey, about this last remark.
Objection.
You still don't get it, do you, Trent? This isn't the time to be pressing the witness on every little statement.
I'm afraid you're the one who still doesn't get it, Mr. Gatto.
What?
Mr. Atmey, it seems you have finally admitted it. That you were in the CEO's office on the night of the murder.
How can you say that?
Let's review your testimony, shall we, Mr. Atmey? The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? Mr. Delight was wearing his Masque de Masque costume. Is that correct?
Indeed! That is what I said! My deductions are absolutely foolproof!
More likely, your deductions prove that you are a fool.
I'm sorry. Whatever do you mean?
For some reason, I'm starting to get really thirsty.
17 and no more! When exactly did we learn the fact that Ron Delight was dressed as Masque de Masque when he went to the scene of the crime?
That was...
It was just a few hours ago. Back when my sixth cup was looking at me with a cold stare.
Did I forget to mention it before? I'm sorry, I just never had a chance to mention it up until now. That's right. The defendant had yet to tell anyone else this fact before this morning. Also, absolutely astounding that Luke Atmey seemed to know the fact that the buzzer had no prints on it, but Gatto didn't, because that's just astonishing to me. Therefore, the only people who should have known this are those who have been watching this trial. Do you understand now, Detective Atmey? There is no way you should have known about that. You were in the next courtroom being tried as Masque de Masque. So then enlighten us. Just how did you know about that piece of information?
Wow!
Come on, this detective must have known about it. He probably had plenty of chances to find out beforehand.
He probably had plenty of chances to find out beforehand? Mr. Gatto, I think now is my turn to say it. Those who wallow in the realm of possibility aren't men. How about you show some proof?
Objection!
And it's those chances that I want to discuss next. That night, Mr. Delight was wearing his Masque de Masque outfit. There is one and only way for Detective Atmey to have found that out.
Only one?
One way, you say?
Please recall, you will, Mr. Delight's testimony. When I entered the office, there's a suspicious shadow there. For a second, my client witnessed the real killer.
But Mr. Delight never saw his attacker, so there's no way to tell whether or not the real killer was Luke Atmey.
Yes, but his attacker saw Mr. Delight. It's with that statement that I'll turn this case on its head.
Just what are you implying?
Mr. Delight saw the real killer, correct? Now, if you turn that statement around, it stands to reason that the real killer had also seen Ron Delight.
Impossible.
Detective Atmey, you saw Masque de Masque at the murder scene that night. You saw him when you killed Kane Bullard and assaulted Ron Delight. That was the only way you could have known what Ron was wearing. Why is there an earthquake going on? irony of my genius! I was supposed to create one myself! Here I am, the tragic clown! Oh, this is too much fun.
That's the same line he gave yesterday.
But I think there's a little more meaning behind it this time.
What an awfully complicated incident. Kane Bullard was blackmailing Luke Atmey, who was in turn blackmailing Ron Delight. And upon killing his blackmailer, Luke Atmey tried to frame Ron Delight. He then claimed to be guilty as Master Mask in order to escape his true crime.
And to that end, he came up with his plan to use the Double Jeopardy rule when making his alibi.
At any rate, it would seem we've finally found the truth.
Excuse me, Ron?
I came perilously close to besmirching the record of an innocent young man, besmirching him with the title of murderer.
Don't ignore me!
Oh, I didn't realize you were there.
Why wouldn't he be? About the verdict.
I know, you never committed any murder.
That's right. I'm so glad you understand that. But I really am Master Maz.
Huh?
So, thanks to the trout yesterday, I'm innocent now, right? Yeah, Double Jeopardy. What was it you said? Double Jeopardy?
Now that you mention it!
I've been careless. You really have been, my friend. Careless? What do you think, Mia? As the defendant says, the rule of Double Jeopardy is absolute. A defendant can never be tried twice for a crime in which he was found innocent. Then, Master Mask is really innocent? It would seem so. For now. For now?
Now then, this court finds the defendant not guilty!
Oh, this is really lucky. Wait, this isn't so good after all. See, the thing is, I'm still Master Mask after all. October 14th, 3:35 p.m., District Court Defendant Lobby number 4. You did it, Phoenix! Thanks, Mia. It's been a long time, hasn't it? Yeah, it's because Maya doesn't call on me much these days. No. I'm just joking, Phoenix. Don't take everything so seriously. But on the other hand, Maya, she seems kind of torn these days. You mean you're not becoming the master of the Kurain channeling school? Becoming the master means saying goodbye to our mother. Misty Faye, right? Watch over her, will you, Phoenix? Of course. Well then, see you around. Mia. Mr. Wright. I don't know what to say. Congratulations, Mr. Delight. Thank you so much. No, wait. Nothing really matters anymore, though, now that all of this has happened. Come on, just be happy already. Maya! You've been cleared of the murder charges and got off as Master Mask to boot. But in exchange, I lost everything. Huh? What do you mean? Stealing security information from KB Security, becoming Master Mask. I did it all for one reason, for her. You mean your wife, Desire, eh? She hates criminals more than anything. Come to think of it, she was once held hostage by some robbers, wasn't she? She always said how she hates sneaky criminals. I knew that, but once I got fired from KB Security and lost all the money I had, she wouldn't have any reason to stay with me. I thought she would leave me for sure. So that's why you became Mask de Mask. Yes, but that's all over now. Broken bowl can never be put back together. Well, one has been. Twice. That's not true, right, Nick? Right.
Really? Can we really go back to the way things were? You'll be fine, and Nick can prove it.
I can? I wish you'd check with me first. Mr. Light, even if a bowl is broken, there's always a way to put it back together.
Take that!
The sacred urn. Desi was the one who found this.
Desiree, your wife. She's always believed in you, Ron. Thanks. That's why you'll be fine. You don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah, there you are.
Miss Delight.
You did it, Ronnie. You're innocent. I'm so happy. Thank you. I appreciate that. I suppose you don't want anything more to do with me, do you? Ronnie, why didn't you talk to me about what was going on? I had no idea you'd quit KB Security. I never imagined that you really were mask to mask either. Miss Delight, what are you going to do now? You're not going to really leave him, are you? Come on, it's obvious, isn't it? How could I ever let a wonderful man like him get away? After all, my back's really fast. So fast there's no way he could ever get away.
But didn't you say that you hated criminals?
Yeah, hell, I hate people who act cowardly and sneaky. Like that detective.
I see.
My Ronnie went and declared his crimes before he committed them, like a man. I just love a man who's so chivalrous.
Chivalrous?
I knew I was right about you. Every day I spent with you is filled with thrills and excitement. Desi,
Desiree,
you really do love Ron, don't you? Nicky boy.
Yes?
I'm really glad I asked you to defend my Ronnie. Thank you so much. I'll never forget what you've done for us.
No, well, that's, take care of yourself.
You too, Nicky boy.
I can't feel my face going red.
Mr. Nick! Mr. Maya! Congratulations!
Talk about bad timing.
Mr. Nick! How could you? With another man's wife in front of Mr. Maya! I'll never forgive you! Never! Never!
Oh no, you've got it all wrong. So, just as the case came to a close, so did my consciousness. He just got fucking knocked out! Ron said a broken bowl can never be put back together. But I know that's not true. I mean, just look. Here's a perfect example of one that was put back together even better than before. Amazing! Brand new episode has been added. Recipe for turnabout. Why is Maya wearing a maid costume? Why the fuck? Oh dear lord. What is happening? There we go. Recipe for turnabout. Investigation. Alright, let's head back to the Alright! That's it! That's all she wrote. This was a pretty easy trial, I guess. Let's see. Should I continue and do the investigation for the first investigation for the next trial? Probably not, because that's gonna put me at 9 at night, and I don't really feel like doing that. So I'm probably just gonna end it here, and then I'll see about having a double-length episode next Tuesday, okay? So, yeah. I guess that's going to do it for Recipe for Turnabout here. Yeah. Let me swap over to the ending screen. Yeah, well, not the Recipe for Turnabout. Turnabout, whatever the fuck. Next Tuesday, we're going to be doing Recipe for Turnabout. Yes, so we'll be back with Ace Attorney next Tuesday at a regularly scheduled time. And we also have a bunch of new series coming up. So, well, not new, but returning. So be sure to check out for that. Make sure to subscribe so you get notified. And also you can join our Discord where we always post notifications, and it's better than YouTube. And, you know, in case you're not aware, we're going to be continuing Danganronpa this Saturday. Hopefully. Bryce still isn't sure about his schedule. We might be continuing Danganronpa this Saturday. We might have to postpone it for another day, or we might have to just do it late at night. We will see. I'll keep you updated. I'll have an event up on Saturday, and that should tell you what time the stream is happening and if it is happening at all. Then Sunday we will be continuing Persona 4, and there's the possibility that Bryce and Luca won't make it, and that we'll be alone, but I'm not putting that series off any longer. I'm continuing it regardless of who is there. And then Wednesday, I am very excited to announce we will be playing Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne, featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series. It's gonna be very fun. I'm very much looking forward to that. So, yeah. Thanks so much for being here. Don't forget to like if you liked the video. And, yeah. I'll see you guys on, hopefully Saturday. If not, Sunday. Where's the fucking button? I can't find the button. Oh, God. There we are. Later. Oh, what the fuck.